And now, humans of the Earth, Mars, and Venus, welcome to the show in the basement of Bushwick. Let's give it up for the walk-on with Joel Wachowski.
What is up, everybody? Lace up those boots, put on those Birkenstocks. Get ready to walk on. We are ready to talk on, and we're gonna rock on. We're both botching our intros today, Brian.
See, you gotta botch it so you get better. It's it's just those mental things you got to go through.
Here's what I mean to say. The name of the show is The Walk On.
Right,
we are on the Props Network.
Sure.
And my name is Joel Wachowski.
Right.
Joining me as always, my techie trekkie over there in the booth, Brian Allen Mitchell.
Hello. See, you give me these good notes for the intro, and I write them down, and then I put them together, and I think in 4 months I'm going to have like the best intro for you.
Yeah, and I think I need to have a signature. I love having the signature things. I tried to get a little complicated, but when I said Birkenstocks, I was like, do Birkenstocks appeal to our demographic? It's 2020. Birkenstock is really wide in their demographics.
They are, and I think they really need to get black people in some Birkenstocks. I need to get some. I feel that they're very comfortable, and I think I saw someone have sex in Central Park with Birkenstock. So
they were wearing Birkenstocks, or they were having sex with a Birkenstock.
Well, it was a crazy time. So it was like they were having sex with the person, and they had the Birkenstock. So you had like a little three-way.
Yeah, and even if it's straight sex, they're technically a lesbian.
That's.
So I'm sorry. I need extra money right now. I learned that in my U.S. Census training.
Okay, all right. I'm glad you're doing that.
You have their way of Birkenstocks. Just as you mold to me on the show and I mold to you a Birkenstock, the beautiful thing about that cork sole, it molds to it is a cork sole. It molds to the bottom of your feet.
Okay. Wow. So you're telling me, so after months of walking, it just knows me. It knows my foot.
Yeah, it matches. It creates it. Dr. Scholl's could not replicate what cork does naturally. It's a more homeopathic route to arch support.
Wow. If everyone tuning in, we're talking about Birkenstocks and how great they are on the Props Network with the Walk On with Joel Wachowski.
It's weird. You say black people need to start wearing Birkenstocks. I feel like they started around the midpoint of 2018. Like Courtney, Ethan, all the U.S. karate team. A lot of people are embracing the Birks.
I did not know this. I need to look at my lists, and it's like why I haven't been on this group chat that everyone's doing, but whatever.
You can wear them. And like I was on them before anyone. My mom, I had a size 15 foot as a 10-year-old, which is disgusting. Like even having it as someone who's 6'3" in my mid 30s, it's pretty gross. Yeah. But like as a 10-year-old, yikes.
Yeah, you can't. You're tripping all over this everywhere.
Yeah, well, they did have acid in the drinking water, but it was a two-way street. But no, my mom said the one thing we're going to do for you, I'm always going to take care of your feet, Joel.
Oh,
so I was in Birkenstocks as a 10-year-old boy. I've watched them become popular, but back in the day, I was the only one. So I would see someone else in Birkenstocks, and I would go, "Birk boys." Never got a positive response.
No, probably not. Probably you're going to be like, "What?" And they probably tried to beat you up, but you had 10 feet shoes, so you're fine.
Yeah, you're fine. No one messes with the guy in Birkenstocks. You didn't approach that dude in Central Park, did you?
No, I just clapped. So that's it.
You clapped at him clapping cheeks.
So how you doing, Joel? You watch that Lakers game, right?
Well, I didn't watch. I listened.
Okay.
You know what? I needed to take a little me time. I've watched basically NBA every night.
Yeah.
So I put on the first half of that game. I had a nice sauna.
Ooh. Okay.
So I was like, the Nuggets are going to be sweating. I'm going to be sweating. And
how long can you stay in a sauna? Most of the time, I feel like it's too much, and you get a little pruny. And then I have some water. I need something.
Oh, you bring the water in, I have a gallon with me at the sauna at all times.
But how do you pee? Do you pee in the sauna?
No, it's attached to a bathroom. If I need to pee, I'll go out. Or if I'm alone, maybe just pee on the coals. That's a real two birds with one stone scenario.
That is really good, and it probably smells very therapeutic.
Yeah, but if I'm hydrating, it's clean.
Oh, yeah. Well, that is true. You're breathing in your own vapors. I like that.
Yeah, it's basically the closest I can become to an astronaut. I'm in a self-contained environment, absorbing my own fluids. That's the job, right? Put on a diaper, drive to Florida. I'm the entire way there.
I can do it. Take it, Matt Damon. See, you can be the next Matt Damon right there.
Yeah, I'm losing weight, so I'm getting my butt chin back.
Hey, that's good.
Yeah,
people like that.
And
you get to touch it a lot, so that's
not during COVID times. Yeah,
it was off limits for a little bit.
Yeah, 2020 is the butt chins lament.
Oh, hey, everyone's got a time. Birkenstocks, butt chins. What can you do?
Yeah, but it's a sad day today.
It's just one thing after the other.
Yeah, and let's walk through the morning. You wake up and probably the two of the greatest Chicago legends in my book, both pass away.
Yeah.
Let's talk Gayle Sayers first.
Oh, the Comet.
The Kansas Comet. When you're growing up, I went to Canton, Ohio to visit the Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I read all the books on NFL history.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of modern running backs that matter, it's really Jim Brown and Gayle Sayers.
Yeah, that man. I mean, this guy, he looked like a linebacker most of the time. He's just a linebacker, and I just feel bad for everyone that tried to tackle that man. It's not happening.
And maybe that's because he wore number 40. Not good for branding, Gayle. You would have sold a lot more of those long sleeve jerseys if you had a 22 in there.
He's like, nope, 40. 40. I'm a linebacker.
And dude, watching the Gayle Sayers highlights today, I went back, I watched all the 6 touchdown and the 6 touchdown games. He's the only one from that era who has modern NFL highlights.
Yeah.
He's making he made a cut during
He's catching the ball.
Yeah, he's playing like Roger Craig. He's returning punts. I saw him do a cut that only Alvin Kamara could pull off in a modern NFL game.
Yeah, man, he's just incredible. And my favorite thing is how he held the ball. This man must have the hands of a bear because, well, he did play on the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, it was technically the hands of a bear.
But this guy, he just held it out. It was beautiful. It was just a beautiful thing.
Wasn't coached up, didn't have very much team success, but he was in growing up, I was the biggest Barry Sanders fan.
Yeah.
He's the spiritual equivalent of Barry Sanders. Our dads talk about Gayle the way we talk about and will continue to talk about Barry.
Yeah.
You just reach a certain level of greatness you can do it in basketball, okay. You can't really do it in baseball unless you're a starting pitcher, and it's extremely rare in football. Mm-hmm. Gayle was one of the few to ever hit that level.
Yeah. Upsetting, but hey.
Yeah. He had a good life. And how much was his legend helped by, the movie?
Oh, the song. The
Brian song.
My song.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite song.
Your favorite song is Brian Piccolo Dies of Cancer?
That is, the remix is really good. But
the remix would imply he lives, right? He lives and he gets the cover of Madden.
But so sad. And then,
still for a white running back, Brian Piccolo still had a better outcome than Peyton Hillis.
That's true. Man, I hate that guy. Just straight up hate that guy.
Why do you hate Peyton Hillis?
Well,
he's an Ohio native. He
ran for 1,000 yards once and then turned into Madonna. Just straight up, I need this. I'm the future back. I'm the future of the Browns. No, you're not.
Yeah, the Browns don't have a future, buddy.
Hey, it's soon. It's soon, okay? When we beat the Washington football team this Sunday, everyone's going to be on ESPN. Oh, man, look at how Baker's doing while they were shitting on him for an entire year.
I think I've got the healthiest outlook on the Browns, actually. I feel pretty good about them. I think they've got the tools to be a good football team. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I'm not going to evaluate that opinion until I see them play Pittsburgh or Baltimore.
That is, well, okay, all right. I need to see him to play the Steelers for sure. Because we always lose to Roethlisberger, and I'm tired of it. I am sick and tired of it. I don't need him in my life anymore. Get out of my life. Get out. I don't need it.
He didn't quite do James Vanderbeek, but he leaned into it. Yeah, like you could see him doing the impression, but not knowing what impression he was doing.
Yeah, no, I was trying to do it. I was trying to recap, but it was there. I think it was pretty close.
Yeah,
my characters are getting better. They're getting better and better.
So who do you think has more sports hate towards an individual? You towards Roethlisberger, or me towards Aaron Rodgers?
Ooh, man, I gotta say me, because we've always lost to him all the time, and the Lions have they've beat him a couple times.
Several. I think we're about 5-16 against Aaron Rodgers.
I think that's much better than Roethlisberger and the Browns. So tip my hat to me, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I've got too much. I hate the Packers. I don't really hate Aaron Rodgers. Like I was a dick this weekend.
Yeah.
So one of my older New York friends, Chris Welty, diehard Packer fan. He knows I'm an insane Lions guy. I hate him and his fucking team on those Sundays. So he texts me, "Wow, our defense looks terrible." He knows I'm a crazy person, and I just respond, "Giannis is gonna leave."
Oh, jeez. That sounds like how Clark Jones always trolls me when he talks how much he hates LeBron. He'll just text me, "LeBron sucks," and just never text back. It's very upsetting.
And anytime you hear someone criticize the second best player on an NBA team, your blood's gonna boil a little bit.
You're making it boil again. Oh man.
Okay.
You were talking about the Lakers, right? I just, my favorite thing about the game yesterday was Miles Plumlee. I'm pretty sure that I think he gets called fouls just for his white privilege. I think they just, part of the social justice. They're like, we got to give a foul to Miles just cuz.
Just to even it out. I think that's fair. And they were probably upset with him at missing that rotation too.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was just fair, but Miles Plumlee I thought he was good a couple of years ago, and it's like, no, you're serviceable at best.
Yeah, he's serviceable at best. But if he played in the 80s, he's probably making 1 or 2 All-Star games.
Oh, yeah. That's him. He is the 80s. He's the 80s center that everyone wanted to be. But not now.
He was Anthony Davis's Olympic teammate, so maybe there was a little friendly fire on that rotation. Maybe Anthony I know Rajon Rondo's already given away his ring. Maybe Anthony Davis offered Plumlee a cut.
Oh, just... He was like, yes, I need it, because he's not going to get one on his own.
Yeah,
so.
AD gave him one of the diamonds to miss that role.
just chipping off a diamond for it. That's great.
Can I be sad about one more thing?
Yes, please.
Okay, so Chicago lost Gayle Sayers, and they lost another Chicago legend. I know we're here to talk real sports, Sam, but fake sports had a big loss. Road Warrior Animal from the Legion of Doom, from the Road Warriors. He passed away today at the age of 60. My childhood hero, so I want to pour one out for him.
Pour one out. When I was watching the WWF, that's when...
Yeah, that's what they were doing.
That was my WWF. And
I don't care about no pandas. I care about Road Warrior Animal. That's the only animal I care about.
But yeah, I just remember seeing it like when Raw, whenever they would like come out, and I was scared of their pads.
Yeah.
I thought, oh boy, like someone's gonna die from those. Like that's me, like being a child, like, oh no, someone's gonna. But it was so great. Their energy and everything just it just put you over the moon. It really was great. And I feel for his son James,
St. Louis Ram,
Ohio State linebacker.
Yeah.
But I feel bad for that family today.
Yeah, and like, if we're just going to analyze the wrestling industry a little bit, they have a unique place. They were the first tag team to ever main event on the road. And in wrestling history, they're kind of up there with Ric Flair as the only people to matter in NWA, WCW, and WWF. And my favorite moment, they have a promo from the 90s that's just them holding pumpkins on a fire escape. And they say, hey, this is you. And then they throw the pumpkins off, and it was effective.
That's all you needed to do. Oh, man.
So, yeah, I was sad about that. I cared about him enough as a child that we visited Chicago as a Detroiter, you're going to do that. You're going to go see what a city with a functioning economy looks like.
Right. You got to do that sometimes.
So I kept thinking I was going to run into the Legion of Doom everywhere I was in Chicago.
You're just peeking around buildings like, oh, I can't. I hope so. That's fun.
I have a distinct memory. I was raised Catholic.
Yeah.
I'm lapsed, thankfully. But when you're Catholic, there's a superstition. Every time you go into a new church, you get to make a wish.
Interesting.
So I went into a new
church.
I wished I would meet the Legion of Doom.
Wow. Yeah, you got to use your wishes somewhere. You know, you got to do it. I'm glad you did.
Maybe a waste of wishes here, and while we're here, I do want to own up. I'm on a losing streak here.
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
So I had my great Sunday. We talked about how fun my gambling day was.
Right.
So I'm way wrong on the Saints. Props to you. You
Raiders.
And you sent I'm sorry, Sam. I directly cost you money. I don't feel bad costing Brian money because he doesn't value his money.
I don't.
Brian refuses to be paid for the show. I get paid. This is my job. Brian doesn't think he does a good enough job of it.
I don't. You hear that? I don't do a good enough job. All right, I'll keep doing better.
I'm sorry to air the show's dirty laundry here, but those are the issues.
What is this? The Ellen Show?
Yeah, it's like the reverse of Ellen. Like, yeah, we tried to treat our employees right, but they wouldn't take it.
They just didn't want it. They just didn't want the money. But
yeah, I just wish Ellen came out with like a tire. I was like, yeah, you better don't talk next time.
Oh, Ellen. Oh, Ellen.
So yeah, you guys were right about the Raiders.
Yep.
I was wrong.
You're welcome.
I might have some Raider opinions that align with my previous ones later in the show.
Okay.
And last night I was like, every square in the world was on Nuggets -6.5. Yeah. I wasn't. When the Lakers were on that run, I live bet them at a terrible time to live bet him. I could have got him +300. I could have got him +200. I got him +86. I lost $50. It would have ruined my Tuesday night, but I'm up big. And then I continued my Settlers of Catan winning streak.
Hey, all right. So it balanced out. Is that right?
I was better in the morning. I was grumpy. Like, that's a weird thing. Like, I'll lose a $200 bet and be fine. But if I break the rules and I do a live bet at poor odds, like I always frickin' do. Like, there's nothing harder to do than live bet. What does that do? Like, the line changes so much.
So you have to refresh and just like hope for the best.
No, but there's great value because the live line of an NBA game in particular, sways so much. So I saw the Lakers on a 18-2 run, and they were +150, $50 to win 75. Mm-hmm. And those are good odds. So generally, basketball is a game of runs. Mm-hmm. The live bet does not reflect how momentum swings in a basketball game. Yeah. So, stop live betting. You did okay. We just got called out from a viewer, and this same viewer, Brooklyn.
Stop live betting.
This is the guy who told me the day before my Milwaukee Bucks debacle, don't bet point spreads. If you know who's going to win, just bet who's going to win. So we're getting the stop live betting advice from the guy. Ron's giving me a lot of great life advice. He's giving me he's helped me develop as a man and an individual, but gambling advice, I love you, Ronnie. We might have burned that bridge after the Bucks game.
But hey, stop live betting.
You were getting intrigued. You were so easily persuaded.
I was, and I'm like, wow. I mean, they went on that run, and then that sucked. And then if you sink in a lot of money in a live bet, that hurts even worse.
But you can have great wins there. Like, I was big on the Chargers. Yeah. Like when they played New England 2 years ago in the postseason on the road. I'm the world's only Phillip Rivers fan. So I got him +17.5.
You are.
So I got a thrilling afternoon watching a divisional playoff game in which Phil Rivers lost by 17 points.
Wow. Okay. You win some, you lose a lot.
Schmendrick Lamar says he's not wrong. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Brooklyn wrong today.
Okay. Ron, I love you.
Yeah, we love Ron Krasnow. I'm sorry when I did that GoFundMe for your cancer, I accidentally gave the money to the cancer. That one's on me. That's a true story. We brought out a guy dressed as a tumor and we gave him a check for $4,000. A lot of fun here.
A lot of fun.
Speaking of sports books, speaking of fun, not only do I have the same sponsor as the Detroit Lions, to Riff City, we talked Birkenstocks, we talked betting, we talked saunas.
Oh, yeah.
So enough about my extracurriculars. Let's get some sports talk.
Ooh.
So today,
sexy.
I think we have one of the best. We have one of our favorite people to collaborate with.
Yes.
I think this guy, he is the backbone of a really impressive organization. And, you know, I love working with him. I love watching him do his thing.
Mm-hmm.
Please welcome, straight from Boston, walked here from Bay Ridge, Randy Gardner.
Yeah, Randy. All right. I got to say, as a voiceover artist, Joel, you nailed that promo you just read. That was fantastic.
Yeah,
especially the end tag, the disclaimer.
That's what
That
I
was
work
spot
on. The disclaimer, because everyone, you're legally have to do that disclaimer. So I see the pros do it, and you know, I want to get to their level. Like, I just want to be where Brent Musburger is doing Manscaped ads.
I like it. Well, you're almost there, brother.
Have you guys heard Brent Musburger talk about Manscaped?
No.
Is that real?
Yeah,
Oh, I thought you were kidding.
No, he does.
I totally thought he was kidding.
Brent Musburger's forced to do Manscaped reads.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. I don't have the right beliefs for it. I'm more of a 70s guy, but we could be down.
I'm with you.
Hey, you got to have hair somewhere. Am I right, folks?
Okay.
Brian, sometimes on the show we joke.
Yes, I know. But I'm thinking about your hair. I was like, I don't need to know about your stuff down there. Your rainforest, if you call it.
Is that what you call it? The rainforest?
Well, Lions Till I Died. I call it my Reggie Bush.
It's creative. You're talking about your beautiful butt chin. You know, there's a lot of beautiful butt chins in my life.
Yeah, I mean,
Mr. Tom Brady and you. So you're in good company, my friend.
And then Matt Damon, of course.
Of course,
all of
Matt
Boston's
Damon.
finest. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only three butt chins I know. And Peter Griffin.
Yeah, all the great New Englanders have them.
Hell yeah!
So you good?
You're good company.
You're riding high. We're gonna get.
I'm riding.
We're gonna get to a lot of Boston talk, but I just kind of generally wanted to bitch about something before we got into the meat of it. The NHL needs to step it up. Like, the Stanley Cup playoffs are tied 1-1. Did you know the Stanley Cup playoffs were happening?
It's crazy. You can't even, if you go to ESPN, you have to scroll down like 14 titles. It's like NBA, NFL, MLB. Literally, like there's like the dog show is before the NHL. It's insane.
Yeah,
it really is.
You know, like it shouldn't be. I love a good dog show, but
hey,
it's ridiculous.
One of those sells out Madison Square Garden.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Let's not be pointing fingers at a dog show. And like, it does feel weird because like we're all around the same age. We're all in our late 20s, but. Like, growing up, hockey was the fourth major sport in this country.
Absolutely. I remember actually, like, I loved watching, like, Sunday night hockey was big, Wednesday night, you know, like hockey night. And I mean, if you go to Canada, hockey night in Canada Don Cherry is like the biggest guy on the planet Earth. Like he is the hero of Canada. He's Canada's Elvis, essentially.
Yeah, unfortunately, he was a victim of cancel culture. That was probably the easiest bet of all time.
Yeah. Not all Canadians are very sweet people, I guess, but who knows?
They are. They just run their mouths a little bit.
Yeah. And, when you're living the high life like Don Cherry was, it's the epitome of the NHL at its heyday,
And, we watched how Don Cherry dressed for decades, and now we as a people have the audacity to question his choices.
Yeah, exactly. So he's, Don Cherry, Don Trump, same difference. And they both grabbed him. We shouldn't, apparently. And that's what happens. Well, it was Craig Sager, right? I thought he always ripped off Don Cherry because Don Cherry was like, that was his thing, like those crazy outfits. And Sager did it for a long time.
Yeah, he lifted it. Just like we import The Office here as a sitcom, Craig Sager did that with his wardrobe.
Even Schitt's Creek is Canadian, and they just swept the Emmys. So.
Hey, I'm starting it now, halfway through season 1 on my dad's recommendation. Nice to see Eugene. Hey,
your father recommended that? That's surprising.
He's a big SCTV guy.
Okay.
He said
there you go.
He told me his prize possessions are his 6 SCTV DVDs, and I'm like,
not his children.
You've got 2. Well, he only has one that he likes. Oh shit! I forgot he listens to this show. I'm in trouble now. Thanks for the O.J. Simpson sidecard. Really appreciate that, Dad. But so right now we have the Stanley Cup Finals. The average playoff game has gotten less than 1 million viewers, down 28% from a year ago. And sure, maybe there's a lot of competition, but we have to talk about the fan base right here, because the top story on NHL Reddit right now is
Schitt's Creek.
Disney cruise ships ship horns would make for excellent goals for themed goal nights. Just imagine your team scores on Star Wars night and you hear this. I mean, that's fine. That's cool.
What?
Your sport is currently in a championship. That can't be the biggest story.
With 2 Southern teams being in the championship, which is the weirdest thing. You have a Texas team and a Floridian team playing in Edmonton, and I don't know. Maybe they care, but it's just the whole thing. I don't even know what you watch the game on. What network is it on? The NHL network?
It's on NBC, but they're not promoting it. I saw no ads during Sunday Night Football. And, it's Stars, Lightning. And I don't know that's the Stanley Cup Finals. I hear Stars, Lightning. I just feel like I'm drunk in a canoe again.
There you go, which happens a lot. Being a Detroit guy.
Hey,
drunk in a canoe.
No one has ever been sober in a canoe.
That's actually a good point.
And
Lewis and Clark.
I get this. I get the NHL is a niche sport, but it was well positioned. We had these likable superstars during our youth. We still have these likable, charismatic superstars. The NHL needs to step it up and either push these stars, turn them into national celebrities, or maybe start fixing the games a little bit.
Why not?
I mean, fix the game, but you have how the NBA markets is incredible. It's a lot of social media, and they make these little clips for the player. NHL needs to get more social media. Right? They have nothing. I don't see anything that's. I would be like, if I'm scrolling down and I see a nice goal, I'm like, great, and I'm in. Cool. But there's nothing there where I'm watching commercials of NHL. There's nothing there that grabs me from that sport. Mm-hmm. And I would say the owner, not the owner, who's the better, what is his name?
Gary Bettman.
Gary Bettman.
Better are the people who watch this show.
I think the problem with him, he made that nice ABC deal in '98 and then just pretty much stopped doing anything. And it's you gotta get your social media game up, bro. Let's get going if you want to get people excited, because you don't have fans right now, so you need to do something.
And I would argue that over the past decade, we've seen soccer consistently take NHL's market share.
Yep.
There's always that weird guy at the party who's like, "Oh, I'm a sports fan." And he talks to you about some city you've never heard of.
Man United. Or something. Yeah.
And then instead of having those hockey conversations now, which is what they used to be, those are soccer conversations.
And it's weird too, because we're all from hockey, Michigan, Boston, Ohio,
Mhm.
and we live in New York, and it's like these are hockey areas. These are hockey hubs. It's just as exciting. There are a lot of great players. Like there's nothing's changed about hockey so much.
Yeah.
It's just how it's marketed, and it's how I don't understand how it just disappeared. It used to be such a prevalent thing in our lives, and now all of a sudden it's just gone.
Well, there was a
You know?
change. Like
Now MMA is so much bigger, and you know what I mean. It's like everything. It's just like all of a sudden, like you mentioned soccer. It's like, how does hockey fall off like that?
Well,
Yeah.
there was a specific legislation by hockey. All the small market teams, they were mad at the original Sixers, which, if you don't know, Chicago, Toronto, Montreal, Boston, New York, and Detroit, because these are fan bases with huge metropolitan areas that extend beyond their city, so they have an advantage in terms of getting free agents, getting caps, and so they really cracked down on the amount of money these teams could spend. It's crippled the Detroit Red Wings franchise, and like
Think of other there. I was looking up how many lockouts the NHL has had. It's just two. They did 4 in a span. They didn't have a season like in 2003, 2004.
and that's why I dropped hockey. I loved hockey. Hockey and basketball were 1 and 2 for me.
Yeah.
There wasn't a hockey season. The Pistons won the championship. The rest is history. Hoops for life, brother.
I mean, that's honestly like when it kind of turned around that time, right after 2000 or so. Like then it started to turn, and then people stopped giving a shit about hockey all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they didn't push what they had because they have the cupboards are stacked. Like that Ovechkin and Crosby rivalry, like just hearing about that story, it's interesting. It should be under our noses. It should be pushed like LeBron versus whoever the rival of the week is.
Yeah.
This is totally on NHL leadership.
Yep.
They've taken their sport out of the national story more than any of their players, more than any of their teams, and it's to the detriment of a great product and a great fan base.
And they had the best video game.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's the second show in a row that someone's brought up NHL 95.
It's true though. It was the best game.
It was the best game.
We're going to have to change the Spotify description. Yeah, it's a show of gambling, comedy, and NHL 95. Is this the walk-on or Swingers?
One episode. Yeah. Exactly.
Owe me a Coke.
No, but that game was the shit.
And like some of these sports need to mix it up. Like the MLB, like I know it's hard to say, but this COVID season's the best thing that could ever happen to them.
No, I don't know. If I'm not gambling, I can't watch a Major League Baseball game. Like, to be perfectly honest, like and playing in empty ballparks, it's like it's a different feel, like everything. Like, I already don't really give a shit. I mean, it doesn't help that my team is garbage right now.
And who's your team, Randy?
The Boston Red Sox. But I just can't. I mean, I watch games, it's something to do. But I don't know if I have COVID brain or what it is, but it's just like sports in general right now are hard.
Yes.
And it's like baseball for me has been really tough. Right?
Yeah. I mean,
the NBA, I'm all in because my Celtics are doing well, but and football is fresh, but baseball, I just can't get behind it all.
It feels like I'm watching just on mute.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to turn away.
It feels like a spring training game. Like,
yes.
You're like, this isn't really Fenway Park. You're in Tampa. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't seem real.
Yeah.
It's like, it's weird. Like,
but I think
even with the piped in noise, which
I think it's been a rough postseason. I think they have the worst people editing their fake crowds.
Everyone's like so behind.
Yeah.
Like no one gets it right. I don't know how hard it is. There should be just a button. I don't know. But
I mean, it seems like it'd be an easy job. I would love that job. So I don't know if anybody out there works in a headhunter looking for push the button Major League Baseball thing.
I do know those guys, and the people who track Major League pitchers are all New York stoner comedians. So you might be well qualified.
You're telling me I have a chance.
I'm banned from Major League Baseball. Did you know that?
What do you mean by that?
What do you mean?
Cheering for it or going to live games?
If I were to
bracelet on you,
if I were to walk into Major League Baseball's offices, I would be escorted out immediately.
All right.
My first job in New York, I worked for Major League Baseball as a Facebook administrator, and I quit the job. It was $12 an hour. Miami Marlins had free Pitbull night, and like in the second I brought up, they went around the world. They interrupted the Olympics to talk about it, and things could have gotten bad for me. And someone helped me out, and I think that's all I'm allowed to say.
That
Well,
sounds
thank you,
good.
Someone, whoever that someone was,
Yeah.
you did a good job.
Sounds like a lawyer. But holy shit,
sounds
Joel.
like a senator.
That is like, yeah. that is so mean. That is like, for people to see that, or like the offices, they're probably like shitting their loads.
Well, I mean,
is that right? Is that
like,
shitting their
that's how
loads?
loads come out. You
Yeah,
shit.
you shut up. Yeah,
that's the whole loads are from.
Don't get me going.
Don't get me going on my shit.
So I do think So I've got to invest.
I'm with you, because this new wild card system that they're doing seems like fun. You have that March Madness type, and that's probably where I'll tune in. But like now, I'm like, I'll do it if basketball is not on, and that's very upsetting when it's not. You know,
and also with like all the COVID changes, nothing feels like a real season, anyways.
Exactly.
Like everything every season is going to have some sort of an asterisk there in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, who gives a shit? Like, might as well be the year that we do this fun new format. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't love putting a runner on, or these new rules and shit.
Yeah, that runner shit is
whatever. But like,
I bring this up
I think it's a good time to introduce it, because everything's fucking crazy right now.
In regards to the NHL, like the MLB is kind of being forced to do these weird changes that.
Yeah.
All right. So let's
I'm
talk.
with you.
Also, keep in mind that the NHL is worldwide. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, all sports are, but like NHL is big everywhere. So it's like, if they're getting piss poor ratings everywhere, it speaks volumes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know how Russia regulates their television.
That's probably the problem
se,
issue.
but,
It's like, we can't watch the NHL. We're not allowed.
It's huge in Uzbekistan. So.
Yeah.
Right next to each
So
other.
that's a good spot.
Yeah, he really had to sell us on where Uzbekistan. His reference
bigger
was
country
too
than you would
smart
think.
for the show.
It's a bigger country than you would think.
All right, so let's get into the meat. The NBA playoffs are back. We're going to have a lot of Boston talk. So let's start in the West for now. Congratulations, Paul Millsap.
Oh man, he's so disappointing, Paul Millsap. He's you were expecting the greatness out of this guy, and he just hit that like plateau of like, you're gonna be good. And he's like, no, I don't have to be good. I'll just get passed around in trades, and then people are like, well, we did get Paul Millsap in that trade, and you talk yourself into a good player, and he's not.
But that's a perception thing, because like Paul Millsap was a late round pick by the Jazz. He's been like 16 points and 9 rebounds his entire career. Never got any better.
No, he's a Tyson Chandler. He's just like, oh, take him here, take him there.
Right.
Like that kind of same thing.
Yeah, I'm going to get 10 and 5 from you.
Mhm.
Okay, call it a day.
But if you get a B plus in every class, you're a pretty good student.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, you're getting paid, and you're on a roster. So hey, Paul's going to take it anytime.
I'm stunned that Brian went that way on Paul Millsap. Like I see Paul Millsap. I see a Brian guy for sure.
Oh yeah, I feel like a Paul Millsap. You know, that's why I hate him. That's why I hate him. You know, so that's it.
Brian's a journeyman,
and that's I identify Stafford. Like I've got a lot of skills. I've got a lot of talent.
That's Matt. Hey,
I'll be a good dude. People talk about how awesome I am, how I do really good things, and I'm a kind person. I will never accomplish anything.
You will. You'll get that Super Bowl. Don't you worry.
My boy Matty will bring it to you.
Yeah, I'll borrow one of your 7.
Yeah, please. We got plenty.
So, there's no chance the Nuggets come back in this, right? Or are we done right now?
I think LeBron smells it. I think LeBron's like he's
Yeah.
I think going into 4, I think they're going to take over and then just lock it up.
Yeah.
It was a sloppy game.
Exactly.
Murray
and
played well, obviously.
Yeah, they were Lakers were careless around the basket.
Yeah.
And it was one of those, they've been clicking for so much, they were expecting shots to go in. And it just didn't happen. And you had players on the Nuggets like Jay Grant, just you have one of those games where the young player just goes off, you know? And that's probably his only game he's gonna have like that, like in the season.
That was a big, triple doubles.
Yeah.
Jeremy Grant has swung a playoff game in each of the series. Like I know Nuggets fans hate him, but he's had a lot of contributions. And I don't think they're a title team, but I think like if you can't win a title team, you can be a memorable playoff team. And like as basketball fans, am I crazy to think that down the line I'll have more conversations about this year's Denver Nuggets than I will about this year's Lakers?
Probably,
yes, yeah,
because series, but also it's in my opinion, the worst of the teams. You know what I mean? It's just like it is what it is. You know what I mean? I think the Lakers are going to go. I want to see my boys go, but I think either one, are better teams than Denver, the Heat or us.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful sight to see Murray just the evolution of him. Mm-hmm. He is not scared. He is not scared of that moment, and to have him, I was really scared for the Nuggets being down, like up by 15, and because they always play from being down by 15. So I was like, are they going to keep the lead? And they did, and it was a beautiful thing to do. I think it shows a lot for the Lakers. Like, okay, we can't just like sleep on them a little bit, like
Jamal Murray. Like we talk about these guys having that one attribute, he's in. He elbowed LeBron in the face.
But a good acting job by LeBron too. That was really good.
He's getting ready for Space Jam too.
So you got to get those reps in. You got to get those acting chops in.
Yeah, but to stop him from practicing when he was younger, his coach had to take away his shoes so he couldn't practice.
Damn.
Otherwise, he was probably putting in like 12, 14 hours of work. So that's an insane amount to me.
Yeah, and he's got good feet now. If he's probably
barefoot basketball.
Yeah.
It's like that Antoine Walker commercial was like, if I could play barefoot, if I could.
I don't remember that at all.
The employee number 8 commercial, him selling shoes by saying he doesn't want to wear the shoes.
Yeah.
So let's talk Boston. You're living in Titletown. You're very spoiled.
Well, yeah. As an adult, I'm very spoiled. The first 20 years of my life, not so much, and then lately, obviously very spoiled. So things are good. I like where we're at. I don't know what's happening with this series. I'm a little anxious. I'm excited for tonight. I'm a little anxious.
Yeah.
Is tonight or this airs tomorrow?
It's tonight.
All right,
yeah, we're hanging together.
So tonight, it's a big game.
We're gonna be in the bet bunker. I'm going against you because I'm on a cold streak. I want that on your side.
What's the line now?
The line is Celtics by 3.
It was 3.5, wasn't it, when it first opened?
By 3 is the right place for that to be. This is going to be.
Honestly, if I was probably taking the line, I would probably go Miami even because these games have been so close that it's I could see it going either way.
I took Miami money line because I
money line straight up.
I had them before the series, and I was like, I think whoever wins this game wins the series. Honestly,
yeah.
But we can get into that game a little bit, but I do have a big picture question for a Celtics fan. I know deep down you're Francis, the Patriots fan, but I know you're a C's guy first.
Sure.
Are the Brad Stevens teams, they're this likable team that like really idealizes a lot of things I love about the sport of basketball. Will they be remembered in Boston as a failure if they don't win a title?
I mean, that's a great question. And I think a lot of them are defensive teams. And that's something that we in Boston, especially for years, obviously we had great offensive players, but that was a huge part of what we did. And also great role players, which he's always had. And we've come close and we've been in good positions and we've been the better team and not won. So, I mean, how do you look at, depending on how long this goes on for, like how do you look at a prolonged career and say that it was a success if you don't win with those teams? So it's hard. And also Boston's a tough city to play in because we expect, like, you wouldn't be saying this if this was the Sacramento Kings.
No, this would be the best Kings team ever. This would be the best Nuggets team ever. So it's the 25th best Celtic team ever.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what makes it difficult. So I love Brad Stevens. I think he's done a great job. And we've been, very close or right there for a long time. I don't know, like failure is a tough word because it's like we didn't win. So I guess technically every year there's only one team that's not a failure in the NBA or any league.
But I don't think that's true, but I think that's true in Boston.
Well, I'm taking it from that mentality. And like, that's how I look at sports in general, because that's how all of our sports are kind of based. And that's like, it's a really tough city to play in and a tough city to be a coach in, especially because like it's fleeting. If you're that kind of like shit, they're going to get you out of there. You can be amazing and still be considered a failure. And I think Brad Stevens has been an amazing coach. He's done amazing things for the city. He's very likable. He's a great guy. He's a great coach. And he's done things sometimes with tough teams, not the best cards. And so we'll see, what happens this season. I don't know that we're going to win it this season. Like I could see us winning it. I could also see us losing to the Heat.
Yeah, but like Brad Stevens, like the resume is impeccable in a lot of regards. Like taking LeBron 2 years ago to Game 7 when they were without Kyrie Irving, they had Jason Tatum in his, I think, rookie year, Brown in his second year.
Well, yeah, I mean, they worked with young squads and a couple good veterans.
Oh, when Kevin Love was taken out.
Yeah.
So those are, I mean, it's hard to say, like, but the way they look at it in Boston, especially, is like, yeah, that's a failure.
Yeah, but from a coaching perspective, that was probably harder than most of the NBA championships that Phil Jackson won.
Absolutely. I think he's one of the best coaches in the league every year.
Yes.
And the guy's got a Hall of Fame career only outside of the sense that he hasn't won that championship yet. There are a lot of guys that will get, accolades with just one championship. And I really hope he gets there. And I hope, I don't know if it's going to be this season. Part of me also doesn't necessarily want it. I mean, I want it this season. Of course, I want all of us, our teams to win. But like, we were speaking, kind of candidly earlier, and it's like COVID seasons feel weird. And it's like, it sucks being in the bubble. I think it is a huge difference playing, whether you mentioned at home, whether it's the Toronto series or in Boston or in Miami, there's a big difference playing at, in front of your home crowd. And it's different in the bubble.
And I think like I benefit, like I haven't had that like disparity in beliefs because my team isn't in it, I don't see this Boston Garden going crazy in a Game 6 game versus Toronto. I don't see them like losing their minds for Tyler Hero and all the panties being thrown onto the parquet floor.
Man, that would have been fun to see.
Yeah, if Tyler
and
Hero,
just underwear, just a lot of underwear, just all over them.
It's still pretty warm down there. They don't really wear underwear, I would assume.
Not when Tyler's around.
No.
I found some underwear at a venue once. I saw Prince perform live.
Yes.
Right.
And
Explain.
afterwards, I walked around. I was like 17, so I walked around the Palace Auburn Hills, saw what I found. I found 3 pairs of panties,
nice,
and a cell phone.
That's Detroit.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
a cell phone with the pictures of the panties.
68 Ford.
Yeah.
But that sounds like a good little time.
Concert.
Yeah, I returned the cell phone, but I did it I just called numbers in the phone until I could get the address. Like I was just trying to figure out how I could get home. So
that's good.
If Dan Botsy's watching, I apologize for all the trouble I caused back in 2004.
Hey, a lot of people caused problems in 2004. Yeah, all right.
Absolutely. It was a tough year for everybody.
What was the best concert you've ever been to that wasn't Fish?
Best concert ever? That's hard.
was
And how
Fish.
dare you?
The
How
Fairly
dare
Well
He's
you?
a fish
show.
head.
I know. Like he's gonna name all of, and they were like, "Yes, Fish is probably
Okay,
the
so
best."
we can include Fish. What's the 12th best concert you've ever been to?
The Fairly Well shows in Chicago at Soldier Field I went out to a couple years ago. Those are the Grateful Dead's final shows with Trey Anastasio from Fish.
Oh, I don't. Can we count it?
And also, I've seen Prince a few times. One of the Prince shows I saw was the only time ever that a band or an artist did a show, went off stage, came back, did an encore, then went off stage. The house lights went up, 95% of the stadium left, and then he came back on stage, picked up his guitar, and started playing, and people just started in hordes running back into the arena. And that was Prince in, I want to say, like 2013 or something like that. It was fucking amazing.
Oh my
He
goodness.
literally just came back, took his guitar, and did like a 3-minute guitar solo. It was fucking
Oh my
amazing.
goodness.
So that was pretty dope.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and when I saw, he probably played. It was just him. He
He's
no
fucking
opener.
phenomenal, man.
He 4 hours straight is how long he played for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm used to long concerts as a Fish fan.
I gotta go.
So,
that was
but-
my goal for this year. All I wanted to accomplish in
it's tough you have to
2020,
concerts.
but I had one goal: see Fish at Madison Square Garden,
Yep.
New Year's Eve. All my buddies go every
We
year.
went, yeah.
Yeah, you go.
Casey
Nick-
went and Courtney went, and Nate Fritzen's a big Fish fan.
Yeah, Nate and
Mhm.
Allison,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
my great friends, they go to this concert every year. My fiance would never go in a million years, but
Well, anytime you want to go, once live anything is back, we'll go.
You gotta
check
go.
out the show.
I'm in there.
Yeah.
I've seen the Grateful Dead, haven't seen Fish, so that's on the bucket list. Brian, what's on your bucket list?
Well, I mean, I went to see Queens of the Stone Age, and that was freaking cool.
Whoa,
At a
that
particular
was-
venue, or was it?
It was at the Rock Hall in
very
Cleveland.
cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was just a great time. I Dream List. I mean, I want to see Metallica. I want to see Metallica live. I think it really-
Wow, you're so much more of a rocker than I anticipated.
Oh yeah, oh
He's
yeah.
got a rock and roll soul.
I got a
He's
rock and
burning.
roll soul. I would love to go to a Rush concert just with old
Oh,
dads, and be
yeah.
like, hey, I'm not a dad, but I'll hang out with you. You know.
That's how I feel about life. I walk around being like, I'm not your dad, but let's hang out. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I go through life. I will say, a Metallica concert is something I really want to go to. I
Yeah.
saw Guns N' Roses at the Meadowlands.
Yeah.
And that's probably, I have no idea, but probably the closest you'll ever get to like an 80s hair. At one point, I was just screaming into the air. I wasn't singing. I was just screaming at the top of my lungs
Yeah.
as like fireworks were going off and like welcome to the jungle. It was chaos. And that was cool as hell. So
Yeah.
I bet you Metallica is probably a cool ass show like that.
Right.
So to see them at a venue like that would be cool as hell.
Yeah.
So I'm with you, bro.
So cool venues. Speaking of just getting thrashed at the Meadowlands, NFL Week 3. How about it, boys?
Two fantastic teams playing at the Meadowlands.
Before we do it,
The New York Football Giants.
we got to pay the bills. We're giving the thrills. Now let's pay them bills.
Here comes that VO stuff I was talking
You
about.
know, and if you
Probably not, but yeah, just at a press conference, sure. I mean, I'm just loving that he's holding onto the shirt. It looks like 9 rats have been eating it for 6.5 seasons. Like, the shirt is insane. He looks like most people in my family, like during COVID. So like, I'm like, the hair and everything, like it works for me. But like, it's just ridiculous. This man's worth so much money, and nobody's like, "Hey, Bill, want to throw this like towel over your shoulder so nobody can see that your shirt's from 1987?"
Yeah, and I know Bill has a girlfriend behind the scenes, so. Where's she in all this? Like, she must be nagging him to throw this old thing out. It's covered in holes. Like, he's got 4 around the neck hole.
I think his kid is giving him fashion tips, and if you've ever seen his haircut, the 2020 mullet,
like a seagull.
Exactly.
Oh man,
that's Steve Belichick's look.
Have I seen Steve Belichick, next head coach of the Detroit Lions? Yes, I have.
That means you're getting 2 good-looking coaches.
Beautiful. I met Patricia. He hasn't grown as a coach, but he stopped wearing all black.
Grown.
He's the fattest he's ever been.
He wore all black because he was growing as a coach every season for years. He only continued to grow, or he had to wear black. The NFL was like, "Listen, we can't do this. You got to wear black."
I love that gray hoodie that he has, that windbreaker. I kind of want that.
Does he ever wear anything besides sweats? Like he's like a human couch. Like literally, like the man only dresses for comfort. Like
that's what NFL players and coaches, they're like, oh, I'm going to sign up to be a gym teacher.
Yeah,
and they do it.
Yeah, as soon as they're done, their career is done. They're like, I'm only dressing comfortable. I don't give a rat's ass. I don't have to anymore. I don't have to impress anybody.
No,
and they go straight to the sweat.
Yeah, but Patricia, he's the rocket scientist. He's the genius. He's efficient. He doesn't think about grooming or wardrobe. He thinks about not changing his defensive scheme ever.
It worked in Patriot Town.
Yeah, Patricia got brought. They asked him, "Hey, why do you keep blowing fourth quarter leads?" And he's like, "Well, actually, I've got the best call in fourth quarter history from your Super Bowl in 2014,
many years ago." Yeah.
Oh boy, it's like, hang it up. Okay, you got a new team
riding it out.
Yeah, that game happened 4 apartments ago for me.
That's a New York lifetime. We gauge in apartments.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I'm loving Cam Newton on the New England Patriots.
Cam.
And Brian, I know you're a Raiders guy.
Oh yeah,
you are.
Well, yeah, you're right. Yeah,
it's just you said they were like the Browns. So you're like,
yes, I do.
This week the Raiders are getting 5.5 points against the Patriots. Patriots money line is -275. Do I max that out? Do I just go big on the Pats?
I like the money line if you got the wood delay, but I don't necessarily like the line because I think the Raiders are a great team, and the only thing is that on short rest, flying cross country to New England, who knows? I think they are a solid team, and there's no more home field advantage, so it's like we'll see what happens, but that's a healthy line. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a good game.
I don't know. Derek Carr had one play he ran effectively that game. He went to Darren Waller, the tight end.
All day.
He did it all day.
So
his bread and butter.
If Belichick takes that away,
which that's all he's hoping on this week. Yeah.
I don't think that was the problem though. They were trying to give it to Ruggs, but he was the decoy.
Yeah.
So hey, I think now you're going. So go ahead. Congrats. You go ahead and get Waller. I'm going to give Ruggs one of his debut 200-yard days.
And player props aren't out right now. They come out Friday mornings.
Yeah.
His is going to be foolish. Take the low end.
Yeah, take the under on Darren Waller receiving yards.
Take the under. Oh, yeah. Gilmore shutting that down.
Especially after and coming out of Seattle where he played a good game.
They played great.
But they just went up against one of the best, if not the best quarterback in the league right now and a fucking ridiculous receiving core.
Yeah.
And so, I think they're in great shape and I like it. I don't know about the points. That's the only thing. So the money line, if you got it laid out.
I'm going to tie that with the Arizona Cardinals against my Lions. Like, I know that Lions defense.
What is that line?
Well, they're Cardinals -6.
Okay.
So I'm probably going to tie those 2 money lines together as my big play of the weekend. And I've talked about the Lions to you over the years. The defense has always been slow. Mm-hmm. The opposing teams know the scheme. They know the audibles, and they've not changed anything. Meanwhile, we've got the most exciting, young, dynamic offense we've seen since last year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Every year we get one great offense. Such a gift. I think the way to make money this season is to put that money behind the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, that they're gonna. I think they're just gonna rack up points.
Yeah.
It just Hopkins is out for revenge,
That's
and
the greatest gift Murray could have ever had. Like to have him brought in is just insane.
and just to see the Texans just look so middle, just like when
They're in
you were.
trouble.
They are in trouble.
They're in
We were
trouble.
talking about it.
They could go 0-3 right now.
That's what we were talking about on Monday.
It's crazy.
It might happen.
And like when shit's bad, you're going on the road to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
This is the game they lose 31-3. This is the real ass kicking. Maybe they can correct the ship, but the strengths of these teams, and I picked this in my picks this week. They've got an awful offensive line, which is insane because they gave picks and money to Laramie Tunsil.
Yeah.
But the Pittsburgh pass rush is just going to decimate them.
That defense,
Mhm.
you got it.
And then we have another mediocre Steeler team that's going to go 12-4.
Yeah. Oh, they're going to make the playoffs, for sure. I think, at least take that division.
Yeah, they're a lock for the playoffs 2 weeks in.
Mhm.
James Heskey, our friend, must be celebrating.
Sad. I hate to see him happy.
It's like, congrats,
Nobody
you
I
beat
don't want to see happy.
Jeff. You beat Jeff Driscoll. Congrats.
you barely
You
stopped
barely.
Jeff Driscoll.
Yeah, you barely did it. Yeah.
And
It's
who-
weird. Like today, I feel like not today, but just this week, I feel like we came off of a pseudo win, even though we lost. It's like it's weird to be 1-1 and like still feel all right. You know what I mean?
Damn, you're totally right. It didn't feel
It
like a
didn't
loss.
feel like it's a loss. Like it wasn't like we just went into Miami and got the rug
Shellacked.
ripped out. Yeah, you know what
Yeah.
I mean, and where Cam had a very quiet, almost 400 yards in the air, which to me is insane.
Yeah.
He had 380 something or 390 something.
Yeah.
Like, and 7 different targets. You know what I mean? Like he's going to fit in. It's a whole new offense, which is crazy to see. They're just adapting to this man, and he's apparently all in. Everything I ever read about this man is that he doesn't take his nose out of the playbook, and he's 100% in. So it's a new era, but I love it. Where we're at right now, as much as to bring it back to the butt cheek conversation, as much as I love a good butt chin, and as much as Tom Brady is forever my brother. I'm loving it. I'm loving life with Cam, and and not for nothing. I started with Tom Brady this week, and I benched Cam Newton. Those are my 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah,
and Cam Newton put up like 36 points to Tom Brady's like 10.7.
And let that be a lesson to you. You have a new quarterback.
Exactly.
Dude, I was so excited. I was riding my bike. I saw a Patriots 1 jersey out in the wild. That was a cool moment.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And no one's been a lightning rod for, football. We use it for fun, camaraderie, occasionally comedy. And I think on the other side of that coin, Cam Newton's been treated unfairly every step of his career, from Florida to Auburn to Carolina. And now he gets the payoff for it. He gets to be in football heaven with Belichick and McDaniels. So I'm happy for him.
Listen, for my entire life, no one outside of the UConn women's basketball team has won me more money than Cam Newton at Auburn. Cam Newton at Auburn, I literally rode him for like 2.5 months.
Yeah.
He just won money straight. Only UConn women have I been that much more consistent.
That is a good bet.
They would
UConn women
They would
too.
have 49-point lines, and they would crush them by 11 points. They were that was the most insane thing I ever experienced.
Wow.
But Cam Newton at Auburn, I will never forget. And so I always I'm all in with Cam. I don't give a shit. And it's him or Jarrett Stidham, which he's a young guy. We might have a future with him, but I don't give a rat's ass. I'm all in on Cam.
Yeah, Cam.
I don't get these fans who are like, no, Brady. And what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
He's gone.
he's gone, and it's okay because he's putting up the same numbers he did last year. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd much rather be with Cam Newton.
And think about it. Against that Seahawks game, do you think Brady would do that?
No.
Would he do what Cam Newton did?
No, I think we would have lost worse. I think with Brady.
I think so too.
And because Cam's a multi-threat, and Brady, especially at 43, is not that anymore.
Right.
He's not moving around the pocket. He's solely throwing.
Right.
We didn't have those weapons, and that's what happened last year.
Mhm.
And there is Cam seems very self-aware as a player. Like I thought it was it was subtle, but I really enjoyed. He goes back. He did a hip fake to fake out the entire defense, then hit the second string tight end wide open.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's a product of being in New England.
Well, I also think it's to your point where he's kind of got a chip on his shoulder. I think he's kind of not had the best, situation his whole career.
No.
And I think he understands that. And I think he knows he has something where he can kind of reinvent himself in New England.
Yeah.
And why not do it behind Josh McDaniel?
Yeah, he had a chip on his shoulder. It was surgically removed, so now he's good to go. He missed all of 2019 in Carolina, so now he's good.
Yeah, now he's good to go. Thank God.
Yeah, I think he's really. I think he's going to do it. I think he's going to take him to the playoffs. Yeah, the division. Yes,
I mean, we're very fortunate that we have the Jets and the Dolphins.
Yeah, but I think you're not going to go to the playoffs and just lose the first game. You know, you don't see that. And with that offense, and I loved Cam. Like, was in an interview this week about if you need another receiver, and he said it was in the locker room. Oh. Yeah. If I'm on that roster and I hear that and I'm a receiver, like, I'm catching everything Cam throws at me.
Well, I mean, it's true. I mean, who'd ever heard of Demare Bird before Sunday night? That guy's
one of his 7 targets.
Yeah, amazing. He was open every time. He's playing the WR2 spot. With great effectiveness.
Yeah.
So that just kind of goes to the depth of that locker room.
Yeah.
And hopefully lights a little bit of a fire under N'Keal Harry's ass too. He's supposed to be our deep threat. He's supposed to be the one to get space. Like, let's see him do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was one of those heavily touted wide receivers that the league has right now, and he's the one who's the dud.
And then some people, they just get off to a bad start with the city, and I think that's N'Keal Harry.
Yeah, but he's got room to grow, and he's got something to prove, I think, this season. So
yeah, he had that injury-plagued year one. He had that touchdown that turned into a turnover week 1. So
I have a problem with late first round receivers because there's a reason why. You know, I feel like the second, third round receivers, they're the blue chip receiver. They're going to catch. There's no diva in them. And the first round, you're hoping for their ceiling, and you're just hoping you get something out of them. But if they get injured early, it's kind of over. I mean, like Corey Coleman, like the Browns took him like in the 15th overall. He had bird hands, bird bones, and he was done. And now he signed with the Giants, got cut. Yeah. You don't want to spend that much money on a late round receiver and expect greatness. It doesn't work.
Yeah, it's like the Lions. The only position we can draft is the third round. Like, every third round pick is great. They're a day one starter. Every first rounder is out of the league in 2 years. It's insane.
Every Lions draft is like a Vietnam draft. Everybody's just like so depleted. Why do I have to go?
Yeah, the front lines are gone immediately.
What am I fighting for?
All the guys are on heroin within 5 years. It's real messed up. Shout to Charles Rogers. I'm sorry, but go blue. Yeah, are you scared of anyone in that AFC East? Maybe a young, talented team that's getting a lot of run, that has a quarterback that plays just like Cam Newton?
I mean,
what?
Josh Allen?
Yeah, I think Buffalo is playing well. I mean, it's also week 2 with no preseason. I don't know what to think right now. I think Buffalo is one of those teams where they can have a good team. I'm not worried about them at all. I think the Pats are disciplined enough that they're going to be okay. And they also have, at least, I mean, we have our defense. I don't know what to expect. They're a lot faster, but it's like we're all over the place. We don't have a true like linebacker core. It's just kind of smaller bodies. I think with Buffalo, they're the only one that's going to give us any remote chance. I don't think Josh Allen's going to hang on to how he's playing right now. And Miami and the Jets are just pure garbage. I want to see Tua play for Miami because at least that would be fun. To, watch. But I think they suck. The Jets, I'm not worried about it anyway. Like, it's just, they're such a bad team.
Yeah.
And, whatever. I think Kansas City, even Baltimore, like, I think if we can, I think we're in good shape. I think the Patriots are a disciplined team. So early on, especially with no preseason, I think that we're kind of an advantage to some of the other teams, especially the teams in the AFC East.
Yeah, and like Miami, the Jets, I'm with you. They're garbage. Miami, I think they're okay.
I could see them making something of the season.
Yeah, I think it's conceivable. I think Buffalo and New England are both teams that are like 11-5, 12-4.
Buffalo's going to win 10 games, and then, but I think the Pats should win the AFC East.
Yeah, but it's just like the one game I have marked on my calendar more than any other this season is Pats Bills.
Yeah.
Like the Pats, it's
supposed
another
to go to that
game.
game.
Like,
Mhm.
yeah, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
what a
Go to that
game.
That would have been fucking awesome, man.
Yeah.
In Buffalo?
In Buffalo, yeah.
Oh,
we
the
were
fan
going
therapy
to
crew?
Yeah, we were supposed to go record there.
Oh,
Damn.
wow. You would have brought Wingman
Oh,
along.
boy. No, he would have gotten his ass kicked out there because they would have been like, you're mocking us. Like they wouldn't have
Oh,
appreciated that.
yeah,
at
they
all.
probably wouldn't like
If
that.
John was smart, he would probably not do that character out there.
Yeah, Buffalo, it's a very tough town.
But
and
I was excited to go out there and check that out.
Yeah.
I've only been to Canada twice, so I was really looking forward to it.
And I think you're totally right about Josh. We're not. I don't think we're going to see this steady play because people are going to scheme against you. So it's okay. And with these young quarterbacks, if you're down, you get a little emotional. Cam's steady, right? And that's what you need. And you're not going to get that just because he just needs that. It's just that's how Josh is. He played in Wyoming. So you're not playing big games. So you need to be in that position to where it doesn't even feel like it's a big game. It's just a regular game for you. And that's what Cam's doing right now.
But I do like the comparison between Josh and Cam. Both are mobile. There's certain routes they can throw, and then sometimes they'll have terrible misses.
Yeah.
And both have a questionable history of social media.
That's very true. That is
What's
very
worse?
true.
What's worse, Josh's tweets in college or the font Cam Newton uses?
Josh. I'm going to go with Josh.
Hands down, we can deal with font. We can deal with the font.
I will say, future looking. We're talking about a post-COVID NFL.
Yeah.
I think Jarrett Stidham to be behind Tom Brady and then Cam Newton and even Brian Hoyer, I think is going to be education-wise. Like you don't get a better NFL education in a lot of ways. Like, you know what I mean? You have that Tom Brady, the discipline. You have Bill Belichick. You have Brian Hoyer, who's been a kind of a journeyman career backup.
Mhm.
And then you have Cam Newton, who's got a different perspective on all of it. And I
Right.
think that's really invaluable for Jarrett Stidham, whether he stays with us or otherwise. So I think that's a good thing for him. And for where we are, I like where we are. I mean, for COVID football, you know what I mean?
Yeah, new
As I look at
pieces.
it.
It's random, and maybe I think sports are kind of more normal than COVID than you give them credit. I think you really just lost Tom Brady, and
Yeah.
it's a little weird for you, and that's the real issue going on.
That was just God like buying us some time to rebuild. They're like, just throw in a global pandemic and we'll figure it out. Don't let fans in the stadium for a year. We'll figure it out,
The NFL gods are like, we're going to throw in COVID.
It's kind of like watching. Did you guys watch the U.S. Open at all? The golf tournament?
Oh
A
yeah,
little bit.
And like watching winged foot. Like when you play winged foot, it's such a hard course. And watching these guys where they're the greatest in the world and they're playing like me and my friends. And it made me feel so good as a golfer because you're just seeing this like every tee shot's in the rough.
Yeah.
Like, I can do that.
Hey,
Like, you
that's
know what I
me.
mean?
Yeah.
And that was enjoyable. And that's kind of what it's like my COVID golf, I guess.
yeah. I kind of feel that with watching a lot of these coaching decisions, and even it extends like seeing what happened with the Chargers. I could be a team
I could do
doctor.
that. Yeah.
Did you see this?
The Tyrod,
Oh,
the
God.
Tyrod
Punctured his lung.
doctor.
Yeah, the team doctor punctured Tyrod Taylor's lung 5 minutes before kickoff. I guess the team doctor shouldn't be a minor car accident, huh?
I thought I heard that it wasn't even the team doctor. It was like just a random doctor.
It was this guy Doc who hangs around the library. Like, hey, Doc, come take a look at
He's
this.
got needles.
And give me a syringe.
What?
There was a great meme online of the scene from Pulp Fiction where they're injecting the adrenaline
Yeah.
into Uma Thurman's chest.
Yeah.
And like that's how they were doing it.
Yeah, that
it's
is so
the
good.
opposite. It's just like if Pulp Fiction, like they injected into Uma Thurman, they're like, okay, we gotta go get Justin Herbert. Travolta dancing with Justin Herbert, that scene. And every once in a while, there's a gift from the gambling odds. And I think we're seeing it in Philadelphia this week.
Oh, gross.
Bengals. They've got Joe Burrow. They've got Joe Mixon, a couple nice receivers, and the worst defense in the league. They're going to Philly to play a desperate Eagles team.
So desperate.
Line is -5. Money line is -220. That is a gift.
Yeah,
that
that's
definitely
good.
seems like that.
Yeah, so if
The Eagles do not want to finish or start off 0-3, but they're definitely going to. Like this team is garbage.
you think they're garbage,
I think they're garbage.
yeah, they're not garbage. They're injured, and is there maybe?
Well, I mean, in the position that they're in,
you have a little scar tissue. Maybe Nick
just a
Foles
bit.
haunts your
Just a
memories a
little
little bit.
Yes.
They do have a statue of Foles and Doug Peterson.
Well, I'm sure it's very bulky.
It had to be the first time a sculptor's ever made a visor.
It certainly wasn't Michelangelo's David, who was just like,
You had to get that guy.
It needs a mark.
What if Michelangelo wants to go into sun, but his hair needs to breathe? That was my Michelangelo. There's a lot of hand talk.
Yeah,
you had relatives just like that.
But the Eagles, they have to smell that this division is such trash. Any NFC West team would win this division by 2 games, maybe more. So the Eagles, this is an absolute must-win in Week 3. Jim Schwartz is getting criticized. I expect him to bring the pressure to Burrow. I expect them to be a little healthier. And we're not hearing those digital boos this week. We're seeing a Philly route.
Those digital
boos.
Battery tosses.
Yeah.
Yeah, just real batteries. Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, it's whether they're throwing them or booing digitally, Philly fans are always powered by batteries.
Oh, the Eagles are going to be so bad. Oh, I feel so bad for them.
Nah, they're not going to be.
What other crazy lines do we have this week? There were a couple that I saw that I was kind of surprised by.
Okay, let's watch.
I'm also curious about where Vegas is at right now. Like
Vegas got killed last week.
Vegas is kind of an anomaly right now.
Well, last week, all the teaser bets, every favorite more or less went chalk. So if you place the teaser with the favorites, which is a fun way to spend a Sunday, you're walking out a winner.
Yeah.
So they got annihilated.
It only lasts so long.
So I think the most interesting line this week is probably Rams at Bills, 2 wild card round teams in my estimation. We have the Rams getting 2 points, and I kind of like them. The over-under is 47.5 in that game. We were kind of eyeing that, but that's a good line there. But I like the Rams in that one. What do you guys think?
What is that line again?
2.
2. Even.
Yeah, Rams are they're humming. I think they're picking up. It was like a little slow start, but I think they're going all the way.
I think they'll be all right.
Yeah, and then they've played a couple quality teams. Buffalo hasn't yet. I think they'll just be a little sharper further along than them.
I think this is the week that you're going to see teams really kind of make space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we have the LA Chargers Panthers line. LA Chargers by 6.5. That seems like the ultimate stay away.
Yeah, but I even still like it. I think that the Chargers are a pretty solid team. I think Carolina's pretty much garbage. What was Carolina's line against? Was it New Orleans? Or,
they played Tampa Bay. They were getting 9 points, and it was a miraculous. Both the over and the spread. Leonard Fournette got a touchdown when he was supposed to be running down the clock. Mm. So it was actually the biggest swing gambling wise in all of week 2. So
what a gift for the Bucks. Just Fournette. Okay, that's fine.
We'll see when he starts piping up to the media in week 6.
What he's like only getting 10 touches or something like that.
Why am I behind Ronald Jones? I was the best player in the SEC. That was 5 years ago.
Yeah, so we'll see what Brady does with that situation.
Yeah, and Brady, am I stupid? I know Brady struggles in Denver, but I love the Buccaneers going into Denver.
What's that line at? 6
points. No Drew Lock. No Cortland Sutton, no Von Miller.
That's a pretty soft team right there.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, there is the one thing. Jerry Jeudy's absolutely legit. The hands aren't there yet, but that dude.
But isn't he also injured?
He got injured, but he came back in the game. So, okay. I mean, he was just getting open by 4 or 5 yard margins when I was watching him.
I might just start Noah Fant because there's no one else to throw to, really. So.
I mean, you should probably start Noah Fant because he's the best tight end in football right now.
Waller.
That's an argument, but Noah Fant is like he's never going to be a blocker. He's a receiver at the tight end position, like Ethan SP, who was on the show. Like he played with Fant and is just like he's the best pass catcher you'll ever see. On the contrary, he said he saw TJ Hawkinson cry at the jugs machine once.
Oh boy. You got to get they get mad.
And the lines get more interesting as the weekend goes on. We have Cowboys getting 5 points against the Seahawks and in Seattle. I know home field doesn't really matter, but they're still traveling. Yeah. They're still not very well coached. Is that a Seattle blowout?
I mean, I don't believe in the Cowboys. I could have seen the Cowboys last week starting. You know what I mean? Like that was a rough game, and I think Seattle. I'm all in on Seattle for at least until I see otherwise.
Yeah, Zeke's going to do his thing, so it's really
Zeke has to do his thing. Nobody else is doing that.
Yeah. And if they can contain that, I think it's really containing Zeke because their secondary is pretty good, and Seahawks like they're decent, like they're deep. Like you're not going to their pass rush is not like immaculate or anything, but they'll get the job done. Mm-hmm. So if their secondary, put those together, you stop Zeke. I think you got a good game.
I mean, I certainly fear the Seahawks offense.
Yes,
their receivers are ridiculous.
I don't know who you
stacked giant men who and Russell is pretty much perfect right now. Like he hasn't shown us anything besides he's on his A game.
Yeah, and Pete Carroll has made his career coaching one positional group, the secondary at USC to Seattle. Mm-hmm. He's a former DB. That's how he made his calling card. And the fact that he has the most talented secondary player to be in the league in probably 10 years is an amazing asset. It's crazy to see a safety making plays in week 2, learning a new scheme. Like Jamal Adams was all over that game.
Oh, so he's so happy to get out of the Jets organization.
Yeah, and
to see the dog shit of the past 2 games.
I bet you Woody Johnson's excited to get out of the Jets. Like, everyone wants out of the Jets, I think. So
that first play where Mozart just took it to the house. I was like, oh, why isn't no one able to get this guy? Yeah. Like you're doing bad. This is bad. This is bad football.
That team is garbage,
man. Oh, Sam. Cool. I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do with Sam. I think
you can't evaluate him. That's for damn sure. Like, how are you going to form an opinion on this dude? Oh, we saw this guy. We know he can get mono. We know we can surround him with no talent whatsoever. We can't give him a scheme. Like, you can't judge Sam Darnold on anything.
I know, but I think the question will be, okay, you're going to probably finish in the top 5 in that first round. So do you go for a pass catcher to be like, okay, Sam, this is your last chance. I'm going to put some more offense around you. And then we're going to go. And then do you get a Josh McCown to come back and play? You're like, well, I don't know what you do there because you're rolling the dice on another season, expecting some solid record. But I don't know. I don't know what you do in the long run.
Yeah, but you got to give him another year. You got to give him another coach, unless you get the first or second pick. Because, I mean, as someone with a very bad team, it's kind of time to start tanking.
Yeah.
We've got the best the best quarterback prospect since Peyton Manning is dangling in the balance.
But the lines are going to be they're going to be a little bit too low to like really move up. Like
absolutely. We're probably going to beat Arizona this week now that I bet against them. They're probably going to rally and beat a Saints team that forces them to go to Jameis Winston. So they're gonna Lions their way. They're going to I stand by my prediction. My God. They are going to rally. They are going to get a wild card miraculously. Matt Patricia's going to get an extension, and then they're going to lose that game by 20 points. They're going to get annihilated. It's fate. It's written in stone. They're going to continue to torture me.
Yep.
And tides turned to Detroit. Jeff Daniels came out and said, Patricia's got to go.
Hey. That's a great new sweatsuit. You get, playoff sweatsuit, and then he gets canned. So.
Yeah. It's shitty that Matt Patricia wears the same clothes that I got when my girlfriend's grandfather died.
That sounds like a good compliment. The grandpa's got good taste most of the time.
And speaking of extensions, okay. Over under Cam Newton extension week 7.
Week 7? They're just gonna be like, okay, this is our guy.
I thought he might get it this week.
If he goes,
I'll certainly see them lock him in. I don't know about week 7.
I mean,
I'll probably go over.
You don't think Belichick feels as smitten as you do?
Well, yeah, but it's also again week 2 of a garbage season where there's no preseason. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wouldn't do it there, but if they get a playoff berth, re-up them right there.
I think if we win 12 games, especially, like I think we can.
I think you will.
But we have a much more difficult schedule. I mean, I know Denver's beat up, but we have the next few weeks coming up. We have a tough
Who do you have
schedule.
after Denver?
No, before we have the Raiders this week, and then I want to say Baltimore, Denver, or
Okay.
So it's not a cakewalk. I don't know.
I think that Raiders game's a cakewalk. I think that Denver game's a cakewalk, and maybe Baltimore kicks your ass because they're just such a vengeful team. But maybe Cam's got a little magic versus Lamar. Lamar wouldn't be in the position if Cam didn't pave the way for running quarterbacks who also threw. So Lamar owes him a debt. So maybe we'll see the Plumlee corollary rear its ugly head one more time.
Gross.
Look at this Patriots schedule here. What we got? The official game schedule. I love the Patriots.
And I like how Brian's voice is actually the best tribute to the Legion of Doom. He starts to show.
So what? Oh, okay. So Raiders, Chiefs, Broncos.
Chiefs, Broncos.
Then you have a bye in week 6, and then you go San Fran.
Yeah, so not
a banged up San Fran.
Well, right now, but yeah. Jimmy G will be fine by then. Obviously, Bosa's not. But
yeah, but that probably helps you guys. Jimmy G is not the solution. And we talk about giving a guy extensions too early. Jimmy G is the poster child for that.
Yeah.
We're kind of filibustering a bit because the UFC guest, he's in a car running there. So we're
talk about my baby.
We got it. You got another 15 minutes ahead of you, my man. Just to warn you guys.
But not for nothing, Jimmy G still took him to a Super Bowl, so he doesn't know them very much outside of that W.
Yeah,
true,
absolutely.
True.
And so let's run through where I'm spending my money this weekend.
Are you taking just straight bets, or are you?
I'm gonna do all these bets with the spreads, and then I'll tell you guys what I'll parlay these money lines in some combination. Okay, so we have 1 unit on the Falcons. We good with that? Over the Bears, best 0-2 team versus the worst 2-0 team.
I don't know what I think about that Atlanta team just yet. And I also think Trubisky's overrated from the start that he had. So
yes. Yeah, Trubisky's overrated. People talk about how shitty he is, and he's truly much worse.
But people are going off on this team like they're back, which I don't agree. But
yeah, he threw 3 touchdowns against the Detroit Lions secondary down their top 4 cornerbacks. Maybe you don't evaluate on that. It's the Sam Darnold rule.
Yeah.
All right, so take it.
Okay, so we're on Falcons. We have Patriots money line versus the Raiders, and I'm going to combine that with the Cardinals money line.
Ooh,
like them both.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And Steelers 3.5 over the Texans.
I'll take that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the Denver Broncos.
I like them all.
And then Cards
I can see Tampa losing.
Yeah, well, Brady does struggle in Denver. That's my worry about making this like my big bet of the week.
Yeah, I mean it just Denver can do that. They just have that little. I mean, their defense is okay. So like if you make 2 plays, and it's really Brady makes 2 mistakes, they're going to lose.
Okay, so maybe this is how we're going to do it. We're going to go fast and loose. We're going to play it on the early slots. We know the Eagles are beating the Bengals this week. I feel like I do. I feel very confident the Patriots beat a shitty Raider team on a short week, traveling across the country. So we're going to parlay the Patriots and the Eagles money lines. Let me see the odds on that real quick. I will compute it. Brian, I know you're not allowed to bet, so I will do that.
I will not. I have locked out all the sites on my computer for bets. Anything that says the word bet is not working. Better, even. No better at all. Nothing.
Yeah, you can't even watch Better Call Saul. It's truly a tragedy.
I heard it's a good show.
Man, not for you.
Yeah, no.
Oh, dude. Eagles, Patriots, even money. On the money line, all in on that.
Yeah, I got that a lot.
I got 660 in my shady offshore account. Maybe 680 if the Miami Heat take care of business tonight. Yeah, I'm ready to throw the balance at it at a moment's notice. So, okay, this week we've got the Philly Pats parlay. We've got the Falcons. We've got the Steelers. We've got the Bucks. And then I'm going to act like a Hasidic person on Shabbat and have someone place the Cardinals bet for me.
Boo!
What? That wasn't an insult. That's just a cultural difference. And like, I am culturally Hasidic at this point. Yeah, Gabby, she sings background tracks as like a side money. She sings for like the songs that go in the background of Young and the Restless and other soap operas.
Cool.
So this week she's just been.
I thought I recognized that voice.
So this week she had to learn a Jewish folk holiday song.
Cool.
That I've heard Rock of Ages. I've heard it 200 times this week. And she's already
It's called Rock of Ages.
Yeah, Rock of Ages. Do you know this song?
I know the Hollywood or the Broadway show.
Yeah, that one's a little catchier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the Def Leppard version.
Yeah, and we live in a hotel, and people are knocking on the doors like, "Hey, did someone die? Are you guys okay in here?"
We've been hearing this for a couple days now. So.
Okay, so thank you for coming on. Before we get you out of here, I know people might know you from Fan Therapy as like a bit of a bully, to be honest.
I disagree. Just a confident fan is more than anything.
Yes, I agree.
Well,
I like to think that we're all equal.
Francis is always giving insults, and I know Randy, and Randy's a sweetheart. So I thought maybe I'll give you a topic, and you'll give us some compliments on that topic.
Okay.
So we'll do it real quick hitter.
So I just compliment.
Yeah. So we'll start.
All right.
Nick Nurse.
All right. Well, I apologize for ultimately taking care of you and your team. I'm very happy that they found Waldo and they gave him a tan suit and let him coach a team north of the border. So you're a very handsome coach, and good luck next year.
Okay. Asshole. Good compliment.
All right, that was a good one.
Nick Foles.
Nick Foles. Well, you have a very handsome, large penis. That's like an easy one.
That's an easy one. Yeah.
He doesn't need much otherwise. So.
All right. Speaking of handsome, large penises, Peyton Manning.
All right. Well, I think your commercials are great, and I'm very happy that your defense won you a Super Bowl finally, and at least you're not your brother. So that's a nice, that's kind of a compliment.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You could be Cooper if you worked a little harder, but
Buffalo Bills.
That one's there's not too much good to say. Buffalo. What do you say about Buffalo?
Their wings.
Buffalo. Buffalo is like, it's like, when you have to take a shit in the city and you're running around trying to find a place.
I hate it.
Like Buffalo's like when you found that place, but you just didn't leave. You know what I mean? So it's like, congratulations on being a city where the people are just so dead inside they didn't evacuate. So,
yeah, we're all going to work as debt collectons. Yeah, that's our industry.
Yeah. I'm going to pretend I love this weather because you don't.
Great. Pat Mahomes.
Good for you. I would say good for you. All right.
Oh, goodness.
Obviously, you're pretty great, but we'll see. But good for you.
Baltimore Ravens.
The Baltimore Ravens. Congratulations on being relevant briefly and being a team that wins one Super Bowl every 20 years, and your quarterback's good sometimes.
Great. You're having such growth. I feel like
you're great. These are awesome.
We're having our own little fan therapy session right here. I'm the therapist, which I am licensed offshore, just like my gambling. Okay. Jason Tatum's game shoes.
Well, I'm a sneaker fan myself. I'm a big sneaker guy. Jay Tatum, to me, there's no excuse for any NBA player to not have great sneakers. So,
yes.
I will give him one thing. He had a great pair of Kyrie's this season that they changed the KI to JT's. So those player exclusives are pretty great. So I will say great one pair of shoes, but get your shit together because you should have much better sneakers than you do.
Yeah, just match. Even a dog can watch the broadcast and be like, oh, those shoes don't fit at all.
I mean, like it makes no sense to not have great sneakers if you're sponsored by one of the brands like he is. So
okay, and last one, Boston sports legend, Len Bias's dealer.
Well, the only compliment I can give you is that you have good shit. I don't want it, but you have that Tom Petty shit. So,
Randy,
too soon.
Randy Gardner, thank you for coming on. Where can we find you?
You can find me waiting tables at a steakhouse in Bay Ridge and hopefully doing stand-up in the next 6 months or so. Who knows?
Hell yeah.
But I'm Titletown Francis on Instagram for Fan Therapy or rgardner33 on Instagram and Twitter for myself. Thank you guys for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks for coming on. That was a
Thanks,
blast.
man.
Hell yeah.
Great. So we'll just that was a great stream. Me here if that's cool.
Amen. Let's hope for a big W.
Yeah, we'll see. I think they're kicking off now. Actually, they're tipping off.
It should be soon. What time is it right now?
8:35. Is it an 8:35 or a 9?
It should be at 8:35, I think.
Fire up the TV.